Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts. Holy
My name is Phoebe.
freaking moly, you guys. We take a week off, and Phoebe can't remember. Is this a podcast? You have to talk. Phoebe immediately yawns when I cue her to introduce herself. Am I boring you to tears or what?
No, but I am sleepy.
I'm sleepy and I'm hungry.
Me too.
And we are going to be recording this episode in 2 parts, and you know what that means. Because we ordered food. Phoebe's in Pittsburgh with me. We're IRL recording, and it's so fun. We order from one of our fave restaurants.
I'm so excited, and we didn't have to leave the house to get it.
And we didn't have to. And really, what is better than
Because literally
that?
what I was thinking when I assumed this was going to be, before we set in stone, this is what the night was going to be. I did assume it would become the night. I was like, oh my God, what I would give for Little Tokyo. But the idea of going up there and having to get out, Little Tokyo, get on DoorDash.
No, I know. It's just not. But it's also not as good.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want them to be on DoorDash, but sometimes I am just like, I can't believe we don't have any sushi delivery.
I know. And nowadays, like, I do love ordering food from whatever different restaurants that like specifically do take out well. And I feel like during COVID, a lot of restaurants kind of
Totopo
figured it
mastered
out.
it.
And that is exactly what I'm thinking of. Totopo, if you're in Pittsburgh, Mexican restaurant, so good. But they just figured out the to-go.
That's perfect.
Packaging,
It's always piping hot.
Piping
And
hot.
nothing
There are
gets soggy.
no spills. You always have enough of everything. Like, they make sure they don't skimp on the chips and salsa, which is really, I appreciate, because that's part of the perk of going to a Mexican restaurant that's not like boutique-y, is that you can just keep the chips and salsa coming.
Right. Totopo, so fire.
I know. And then there are some restaurants where it's like, I absolutely love the food, but then I order it to go and like the quality just goes down by at least 15%.
Yeah, I 100%
And if
agree.
I'm paying an extra 15% because of convenience,
that's really what it is.
like, it should taste as good as if I'm there. And I get that I get it.
It's hard.
It's not a perfect system, and I'm making a choice there, but I just feel like,
All that to say, I do have a couple restaurants I absolutely need to hit while I'm here.
all right, let's list them.
Well, Aladdin, we're checking off tonight.
Okay.
Totopo,
Okay.
Little Tokyo,
Okay.
Iovino's.
Okay.
I've already been to Mullet's, probably be there every
Again?
other night.
Already gone to the saloon. I'll probably be there again.
Yes. And then there's one more. El
Noodle Head?
Pizziolo.
El Pete's, yeah.
Noodle Head. Yeah. I mean, I
They
know.
have a much bigger menu now. They added a bunch of
Well,
stuff.
that I would be curious to see, because that's like, I know y'all live for Noodle Head and it is really good. I'm never craving it, and I'm never craving to go over there for it.
It is a hike.
And the parking can be,
Yeah.
even though I do love that area of Pittsburgh, it's just like, it's not, it is kind of far away.
It's so
Oh,
good.
this isn't a restaurant, but I do want to go to Jerry's Records over in
Okay.
Shady Side.
Okay, I'm
Or it's
acting
not
like
Shady-
I'm invited to any
That's
of
not
this,
Shady
by
Side,
the
it's
way.
Squirrel Hill.
Me acting like I have been invited.
Well, you're invited
To what?
You're invited to all of it.
I guarantee.
But
Phoebe's
I
gonna be
knew-
Like, well, I'm already going with me. You can come.
No, but
That's what I hate hearing out of Phoebe's mouth. You can come.
I was picturing like you wanting to go to Jerry's with me, and that is kind of a solo venture for me.
Most things are.
I'd like to, well, because I live alone.
Phoebe's really specific in the type of company she craves. Mom and I, okay, so we're going to talk about our Nashville trip. Mom and I we were like, okay, and Phoebe was ready for us to go because she's dropping us off at the airport. And we get out of the car and we're walking in and we turn around to wave goodbye to you as you Phoebe drives off, does not give us a single glance. Does not glance in our direction. Mom was like, oh my God.
That is not true.
I was like, did that just happen? That she just drove away, did not look at us even out of the corner of her eye. We're waving goodbye. We're like, Phoebe. And she's like zooming. She could not wait to get away from us.
There was a car behind me. Guys, I didn't go park and...
So you couldn't just turn your head and give a little wave?
I watched y'all walk in.
Couldn't have, because we watched you drive away and not look at us.
Well,
Don't try to rewrite history.
I'm
2
not-
against 1. Should we call Mom? Because she remembers, I guarantee. She probably wrote about it in her nightmare journal. We did have such a good time in Nashville for Mom's B-Day.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't really for Mom's B-Day. Mom's B-Day is on the brain because we decorated, and Phoebe took all the credit. Just want to say.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Mom
gave me all the credit.
Mom was like, Phoebe, thank you so much, Phoebe. And Phoebe's like, you're welcome.
That is not what happened. Mom
I was
said,
like, hello.
Mom said,
I'm not
you
gonna be the one who's
girls.
like, and Caroline too.
Mom said, you girls. And you said, well, Phoebe did all of it.
I
You
don't think I
said
said that. Well, Phoebe set it up, but then you should have been like, but Caroline, you know what I mean?
I did say that. I was like, Caroline sent me money. Caroline helped me with this, and this. I did say all of that.
I was like, and
Caroline
I
is
can't-
rewriting history now.
I'm not rewriting history. I was like, ugh, great. This looks like Phoebe just planned all this greatness, and I am the selfish biatch who's just along for the ride. I can't have that attached to me. You know that. You know that.
And I didn't let it be.
Well, I don't know.
So don't stop letting it define you.
That's crazy. So we got to Phoebe's house. Oh my God, love Phoebe's apartment.
Thank you.
We had a sleepover the first night, and Mom, so funny. Mom was prepping for a bee party that I'm helping Phoebe prep for the birthday party we want to have for Mom. I'm also helping Mom prep for the bee party. I'm like, where's the Caroline party? Just kidding. The Caroline party was the whole thing. But it was so funny that you were both like plotting and scheming for the other person. Mom sends me a photo of these socks that she got at Target. The socks because we were photographed in them later. They're bright orange socks with like these little bees all over them. And
my nickname is Bee, everybody.
If they don't know that, they're not real fans.
Just making sure.
She sends me a photo of the socks and is like, if you go to Target today and you can find these, can you get 2 more pairs? I think we should all have them for the bee party.
The bee party.
I'm like, first time hearing of the bee party. I'm like, every day's a bee party when we're with Phoebe. She makes sure of it. Phoebe's like, okay, and I'm waiting. When are we going to sing the bee song? The bee party song? Do you guys know the bee party song?
Well, it's kind of secret.
Secret?
Yeah.
We can't even share with our besties on here?
No, because we could have ops listening.
Okay. That's a good point. If you're an op and you're listening to this, you're in enemy territory. I'm going to find you out. I'm going to track you down. Anyway, so so I did go to Target and I had to search, but I found the socks, got them. We go, Mom has bee glasses for us that were like the most discombobulating things I've ever put on my head.
My apartment is not very big, so they're like in the kitchen.
Apartment, okay, enough with this. Phoebe makes it seem like she lives in a literal shoebox. Her apartment is huge. You are one single human being living in there. It is massive. No, it has like 5 rooms.
What I mean is like it's not big enough so that like you guys could be in a kitchen and not like I had to have my eyes closed and Mom was so petrified that I was going to open them and see what y'all were doing. And I could hear you guys in there like scattering around each other being like, okay, and then we're going to put this here and then we're going to
then I'm also like, and then I've got to get the ice cream cake out of the freezer for Mom and put the candles in it.
I absolutely knocked it out of the park. And Liney, if you're listening, the cake I was referencing when I texted you that night was a Carvel cake. Carvel. I don't know how you say it.
Carvel sounds better to me.
But that is the cake that I was thinking of when I texted you asking what ice cream cake my mom loves.
Hey, the answer is any.
I was like, isn't there an ice cream cake that my mom really likes? And she goes, doesn't everybody like ice cream cake? And I was like, well, obvious. That was implied in the question.
But one thing I will say is that it is kind of funny for an adult to love it because I just feel like it's such a kid.
It feels like a birthday party.
And I feel like Mom is the type to be like, I just don't, you know what I mean? So it is kind of funny that she loves an ice cream cake. And because it just seems they're so messy, like they require so much attention.
And this is a cake from like her childhood. Yeah. That they would get.
Which I believe they sell here because I don't know if I told you, after Kelly's birthday, she had an ice cream cake and we were freaking jonesing for one after that. Like we got some of it and we were like, oh my God, I forgot how good ice cream cakes are. And so one day Anthony and I were just like, we really want is an ice cream cake. And we were like, where could we get one? He goes to the store, comes back with this adorable little mini ice cream cake from the grocery store. And I think it was the same brand. And I think it was like even smaller.
Yes, they have a ton of sizes.
That's crazy. You can just go like, okay, there's a lot to complain about. In the world, there is like an endless supply of things to complain about, but that is one perk. You can just go get an ice cream cake if you want. Exactly. And if you're an adult, like nothing will stop you except for operating hours of businesses. But like you can have one if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have a hankering for an ice cream cake at 7 p.m. and have one by 7:30.
It was so awesome to have it in my freezer this week.
And it was really good.
And my freezer didn't freak out about it. Normally my freezer like does not do well with ice cream.
Your freezer has got a mouth on it. Well, your freezer yells at you.
It hates ice cream. It like fucks up as soon as you open it. Like it's like you have to.
What's fucked up about it?
Sorry, you have to eat the whole pint in one sitting.
Okay, and and that's why I always eat the whole pint in one sitting. By the way, it's not like, because I want to eat it or I can't stop or anything like that. Whenever Mom sings
graters, I want to make graters last, but then I'll put it in the freezer and it'll like flake up.
The like freezer burn,
and then it like the whole pint is now tainted by freezer burn.
Well, and even if it isn't, like I think it is.
Right.
So now so when I'm eating it for the first time, I'm like, and remember what will happen.
It's not going to taste like this. Just
Caroline, soldier through, finish it. You can do that. I know you can do that. Anyway, so we are celebrating. Mom brought like antennae for all of us to wear, bee glasses, bee socks. I think were there other bee things involved?
I think that just about covers it. We had bee cups.
Right. She brought all these bee coffee cups for Phoebe, which hopefully you will use for weeks to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phoebe had it all decorated with happy birthday decorations, and we had the ice cream cake. I mean, you guys, we had a full-blown party.
Yes.
We had a BG party. A BG party.
Yeah.
Iconic. And we giggled. And then Mom and I got to sleep on air mattresses, which is always a treat. It's been a while since I've gotten to do it, and it was comfortable. And then we woke up. Mom had been awake for hours. I wake up and she is staring at me. I was like, are you counting how many breaths I take? Like, she's literally, her head is staring at me, and she's like, I've been up for hours. I don't think Phoebe's awake. And I said, you should go cuddle with her. Didn't have to convince her one single bit. She gets up, silently crawls into bed with you. And I just hear like, and start getting annoyed. And I was like, and she's up. And there's the beautiful sound of Phoebe waking up. It was a really fun trip.
Yeah, it was. I had a blast.
I had the distinct pleasure of opening my toiletry bag, my nasty old toiletry bag that I did steal from my husband. And my dry shampoo exploded.
Man, that's
all over it.
Was
And
it like an aerosol?
No. So, okay. All right. I'll explain it. I'll explain what happened. I use amazing dry shampoo. It's amazing dry shampoo. Sorry, I'm flustered because I'm upset. It's called Crown Affair. Okay. And it comes in it's like a powder, and it has a brush, and you brush it onto your hair, and it's environmentally friendly because you can buy the refills to put back into the big container. So I bought a refill. I couldn't fucking open the container anymore. Like, all the dry shampoo particles got stuck in the twist off cap, and like nobody can get this open. So the brush to my dry shampoo is just trapped in there, but I just bought this whole new thing of it. I was like, how the fuck do I use it? I had to like dump it out into my hand. So I've been, but it's all packaged up, but it just exploded.
Wow.
It just emptied all out, and the powder got over everything, including all of my makeup brushes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Which is just like horrific because I just dried them. And then I was like, I don't have time to like wash these and dry them while I'm here. So I had to use them, and then my makeup was like getting all fucked up on my face. It was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is it gave me permission to buy something I've wanted for a long time. And I love that.
Yes.
I love buying something I want.
love when that happens.
So we went to Stony Clover, and I made a really cute little pink sparkly toiletry bag with a Nashville patch. And then I'll take it other places where Stony Clover stores are and get more patches. And it'll be like a passport stamp kind of.
Exactly. So fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And it's pink, and my makeup case is green. So it's like fully wicked. Which was important, which was crucial to the cause. What else did we do?
We sang karaoke.
We did sing karaoke, and it was really fun. So we stayed in this amazing hotel, you guys. It's called the Graduate Hotel, and it's like a Hilton hotel. They have them in a bunch of like college towns, and they're supposed to kind of like mimic the energy of the town. And this one was like fully country music, Dolly themed. It was the hotel of my dreams. I felt like I was waking up in a storybook every morning. Like,
that's awesome.
It was just so cute. We loved it. And every day there were like different pop-ups down there.
Yeah.
Mom and I made charm necklaces. There was like a vintage pop-up. Just really fun. And there's a karaoke bar in the hotel.
Dude, it's an awesome part of it. And it's like not super crowded.
No one was
fucking
fucking there.
really nice. The people that were in charge of it were really nice.
Yes, really, really nice. And the one thing that was hilarious is the guy who's like running karaoke comes out. That also makes such a difference. And Phoebe and I were talking about this. Like, if you're an asshole, you shouldn't be leading karaoke anywhere.
No.
Like, you just don't need to be like ruining this for people. And there are too many people who run karaoke nights
who are just miserable.
Absolutely. Like, then stop doing this. Go do something else.
Like, and here's something that I will say is that like this defense for people who do jobs like that and are jerks about it. They'll be like, well, imagine if it were you having to deal with drunk people all day. Yeah, but it's not me.
You chose that job.
Because I wouldn't be good at it.
Yeah.
This isn't like a job that it's like.
And also, then don't do it in Nashville. Like, don't do it in like
where the drunkest
karaoke
people in the world
capital of the world and the drinking capital of the world.
Literally.
Basically. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a place where if you're a bad sport, you're really like. And also, why do you want to open yourself up to people being so mad at you?
Yeah.
Like, when we went to Wannabes in Nashville, and I gave the karaoke guy like a $20 bill and requested before he cheats, and he doesn't tell me as I hand it to him that he doesn't do that song, which also like. Give me a break. What do you mean you don't do that song?
It's so stupid.
Like, and then he puts up on the TV everywhere, like a picture of Carrie Underwood singing it with a big red like X over it.
Wild.
And that's how I had to find out. After we waited there all night for my song.
It's so stupid. Like all of your friends had sung.
Yeah, it was just so obnoxious.
Right? We were there with your friends?
I don't know. No, that was your 21st birthday, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And like we were having a lot of fun. Like, it didn't matter that we stayed there.
Yeah.
Because it was like crazy and fun. But still, it was just like, don't be an asshole. Like, or tell me when I'm handing you money.
Exactly.
Like, just be like, hey, can you pick another song? Or make a fucking exception, loser.
It was
Sorry.
crazy. So
You're in
stupid.
Nashville. You don't think someone's going to sing before he cheats?
But this place didn't do it. And they also sung a song before, like, karaoke really kicked off. And which I thought was, like, he was like, we'll get the stage warmed up and, like, get everybody comfortable to, like, do it.
And they were good. The
They
guys
were
were good.
good.
He was just, like, really, like, he was nice. He was kind of, like, trying to make people comfortable, especially if it's the beginning of the night and the bar is, like, kind of sparse, you know, sparse.
The one thing about this bar, because you're on, like, an actual stage, it's not, like, even though, obviously, at Wannabes there's stage too, but you feel more immersed with the bar, even when you're on stage. This one, it felt like you were truly performing at a talent show. You could not hear if people were responding.
Okay. And I couldn't hear my own voice either. And there's like
Well,
part of the video where I literally put my hand up here. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing that I am like putting my hand to my ear to try to check that my pitch is on a karaoke. But I've got a rep to protect.
I didn't have that issue, but mine was more so like
and Phoebe, because Phoebe has perfect pitch.
Well, yeah,
she did not.
But
have
it just to me it was like it was sounding like I was completely embarrassing the hell out of
singing to
myself.
a dead crowd.
Yeah, and you can't really see anybody. And it's like, are you guys singing? Or like, I know you know that. Phoebe kind
of threw a fit. Phoebe put her mic down. She was like, are you guys going to sing or not?
The first song I sang, I was like, okay, it's kind of like a deep cut.
And she was hogging the mic. Okay, also deep cuts at karaoke, grow up.
But mine wasn't really.
What was it? I don't remember.
King of Anything by Cierra.
Oh, that's, okay, not a deep cut.
Guys,
that was like one of the biggest songs.
That song. But what I, like, it's one of, first of all, when we got in there, I was in like, you know, when you're going through a drunk night and you're like on a high part of being drunk where you're like the buzz is hitting in the right way where you can do something reckless, which for me in that moment was walking up and immediately requesting King of Anything as like
the first singer of the night.
Song of the night, because like normally it would be like I've been with my friends all day and we get to the karaoke bar and it's like everybody in the bar is wasted, so it's like it doesn't matter.
And normally like you don't get to go first. Like normally you're in a queue and you're like, okay, we better be like, if we're going to the karaoke bar, we're gonna be here for a couple hours because we're gonna have to wait to even get on stage.
You're not with a bunch of people that are just watching karaoke. It's like at most bars, it would be like people are getting drinks and people are going out, so they're doing other different kinds of things. But normally, I also was so taken aback because nowhere ever has King of Anything.
That's
so
weird.
I was like, oh, well, I have to do it.
I'm also like, sorry, it's 2025. What do you mean you're a karaoke place and you don't have a song?
I agree.
Look it up on YouTube.
Spotify should make, and I think Apple Music just did it, but there should be a streaming service that has a karaoke only version.
I do think that
Apple Music just, which it will be so good for your trips.
So true. But again, I know for a fact any song you want is on YouTube.
Yeah. Because let me tell you, if any friend group in America is going to figure out that there are songs that you can't sing karaoke to, it would be Caroline's, because
kind of my crew.
They're kind of like suggesting like worst pies in London.
Yeah, it's kind of like our whole thing. And Phoebe says deep cut and she chooses a very popular Sarah Bareilles song. We're choosing something from Sweeney Todd. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, it was really fun. I sang Better Than Revenge, and I've never sung at a karaoke before, and it's on the list. And I felt like people were into it, especially Phoebe.
Yeah.
Phoebe sang all the parts that I couldn't possibly do myself.
Right, exactly.
Which I appreciated. Mom didn't sing, which I thought was so weird.
I was like, hey, what the heck?
We both were like, Mom, are you okay?
I guess I just like I need a song.
It's like, and that is step one. You kind of, to sing karaoke, that is
Love Shack is kind of your song, Mom.
Well, that is like an 8-minute song. That's another thing. Show some respect. Unless you're doing all too well 10-minute version and you can slay the house down, then you don't need to do a long song.
Yeah.
Right?
Unless you're our mom and it makes her happy.
Right. Okay. Sorry, Mom. Hey, Mom, I hope you're not listening. I hope you tuned out right there. It was really great. Let's not forget, we went to Party Foul to get dinner. It was delicious. We leave. Phoebe's calling the Uber. We go outside and we see a Cybertruck pull up. And I've started doing this new funny thing based on our previous conversations about Cybertrucks, when I've been like, you know, they're so loud, and that's kind of the narrative we're trying to push here at the Pretty Little Podcast. So I decided that every time I see one, I'm going to like literally double over, hold my ears like, ow! Like it's so loud! Like it's hurting my ears. Like fireworks last night vibes.
Right, exactly.
And so a Cybertruck pulls up and I start doing my thing. And then Phoebe's like, it says the Uber's here, but like The only
Well,
truck
guys,
that's pulled up is this truck. And
on the Uber app, it said that we were getting a Tesla, but it said we were getting like a Model X Tesla.
sorry, they have to explicitly specify if they expect us to walk up to a Cybertruck and ask to get in.
If it's any car and you pull up and it's a different model of, even if it's the same brand, like.
And also, where's the little flashing Uber sign? Like,
I just am a little bit like,
Cybertruck.
don't say you're this kind of Tesla, because then I'm not gonna.
Phoebe knows every kind of Tesla, okay? She was looking for the specific one.
There's only like 3.
Well, wait, is that a specific type, or is that what they call the Cybertruck?
No, that's like the SUV size Tesla.
Well, I would say a Cybertruck is SUV
No, but
size.
a Cybertruck is a Cybertruck.
Okay.
Like the bigger Tesla you would see, would be a Model X. I think.
It was just it was so surreal.
It was.
And I'm not kidding. Phoebe walks up to the car. All of us hang back. We're like, I'm not going near that. Like, again, so loud. And Phoebe gets up and she's like, are you the Uber? And yes, it was the Uber. So we all had to get in. First and probably only time I'll be driving in a Cybertruck, and had to post a little pic, and someone responded, the first ever passengers in a Cybertruck.
Happy to be them.
And I totally forgot about that bit, which is hilarious.
Happy to make her story.
But it was so
certainly
funny.
the first female passengers in
Oh,
one.
oh, well, no doubt. Phoebe gets in and she goes, so, how long have you had this car? And it's like, and that is the crucial question to ask. They should actually include it in their like
I
driver
bought mine
bio.
in like January 22nd.
Yeah, let me be as specific as I can be. But that was really funny.
That was the day after
and it was
the
kind
inauguration.
of like a treat, because I would never, of my own volition, but like Phoebe made me go in, so it was like I can blame this on her, which I love to do, famously.
Get me canceled.
Yeah, and then we left, and I watched some woman flip out at the airport and somehow not make it on the no-fly list. It's like, but when I do it,
The second your voice gets to a certain decibel level, no fly list.
the second any of your belongings are flying across the airport, no fly list. Sorry, you got physical, lady. You can't just get physical at the airport.
No.
That's like the last place you can get physical.
You can't just get physical pretty much anytime.
Anywhere. And if you're a woman.
Right.
That was a dark joke. That was actually a dark haha joke.
Hey, that was called dark comedy.
No haha. Never mind. Okay, our order was dropped off, so we're going to stop recording right now.
Yeah.
But really quick, we did baptize Chuck. And thank you guys to the people who tuned into the live. And never forget the message we got. Hey, I'm from Norway. Is this normal in America? 4th of July? And multiple people were like, wait, yeah, also not from America, also confused. Like, I thought it was so funny. Chuck was so cute. He laid on his back.
At first he was nervous, but then as soon as he realized what was happening, he was like,
I've been waiting for this day for my whole 4 years.
Yes.
And how lucky are we to have something so special to celebrate on the 4th of July? Charleston's life.
Charleston.
Oh, he's just so sweet. And Phoebe read a passage. Phoebe did the honors because he asked, of course. He requested his auntie Phoebe to do it. And she did a really good job. And it was really, really sweet. And then we watched Love Island, which is about the most patriotic thing you can do. And we'll get into that. And while I have you all here, because it's top of mind and I always do it at the end, I need to plug our Patreon because we've had some great episodes lately. So last week, we did the pilot episode of Ginny and Georgia, which is HOT hot right now. So you should go listen.
Very.
That's for all honorary Connell sisters. We did an epic Pretty Little Punch Bowl last month. If you're one of the Pretty Little Liars fans who listens, we talked about who we would cast each of the girls as in a movie today. And some of our best work, I would say. And I would hate for some of you not to hear it. And then we're going to be doing another podcast. So if we didn't talk about things you wanted to hear, like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or whatever, stuff like that in this episode, then you need to go join our Patreon, the first tier, because we're going to do another podcast with everything we missed, because I know it's been a week since you've seen us, but you're going to want to get on the Patreon quick and quickly. What are you doing?
Turning this off. I can't. I'm seeing it in the corner of my eye.
Oh, the fans.
It's bothering the heck out of me.
Phoebe is, and that is one thing about Phoebe. When she gets bothered, well, you'll be bothered too. Just kidding.
Well, I do realize as you get older, you do really get to know yourself, and you know what you need to do to ensure that, like, I don't know, when your sister and your mom come to visit for the weekend, that you're not going to be in a bad mood.
And so, like, what did you have to do?
Sleeping on my own and showering at my house was
As opposed to
going to the hotel like mom wanted me to.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that would have been an amazing time with y'all, but I do think I was in an immensely better mood for the rest of the weekend.
Okay, so that was a good mood. So I'm just checking what we had experienced. That was a good
alone time.
Well, what I want to let you know, and now I can let you in on this little secret, is that before we ever got on the plane, before we ever got there, Mom goes, "Do you think Phoebe is going to stay at the hotel?" And I said, I don't know. And she goes, I bet you $1,000,000 she won't. I'm not going to ask her to because I just want to see, but I bet you she won't. She won't. And mom was dead freaking on. And so one thing you've also learned is that your mom just really gets you and really knows you.
She does.
Well, one thing that was really fun about Nashville was that we did get to listen to some of Virgin together because it came out the day we were together. I love it. Can't get enough. What are your thoughts?
I agree. Not that I didn't think that I liked it on the first listen, but I will forever be chasing the high of melodrama.
Yeah.
And the only artist who's ever going to be able to give us another melodrama is Lorde.
Yeah.
So every time she releases something, I am just looking for that.
Yeah.
And then I need to remind myself, I might think I know what I'm looking for, but I don't. Lorde does. So
Lorde actually knows exactly what I want to hear. And she's going to give it to me. I just have to trust. It does. I do think with Lorde's music too, it takes a couple listens to be like, okay, these are the lines that like actually are cutting through my soul and damaging me deeply. And like, those are the ones you want to listen to. Like Favorite Daughter absolutely kills me. I fucking love it.
The edits of Amy March.
Oh my God.
And it's like, but it's Amy March and Lori is who she's singing about.
I know.
Any of the, I mean, there have been some really incredible edits. I think the only thing that and then of course there's these pretentious people online who are like, people just like, they don't get it. Like they think if I say this critique that I'm about to say, it's like, you don't get it. I disagree. I do wish there were a couple more like drops.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because Phoebe and I were listening. What's the first song we hadn't heard? It wasn't Hammer. Shapeshifter.
Which I actually is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
now.
and at first Phoebe and I are giving each other side eyes like, Ella, what were you thinking? Like at first, okay, we didn't get it.
Caroline and I literally go, there's a big chorus coming.
There's a massive drop coming. And we're like, it's right here. In 30 seconds. We are getting it.
But
I know
and
it.
what does she say at the end of that song? What's that? It's very Taylor. Where she's like,
we did pick up on multiple Taylorisms, especially
I'll push you away and then come running back.
Yes. I don't remember the tune of it right now.
I'll push you out and pull you in.
Yes.
Say that you were just a friend. Over again. So I'm not affected.
Yes. Yeah, that is so. Pull you in and pull you
and
in.
I do feel like Jake Shane single-handedly in my brain squashed any beef I thought they had.
All of those.
Yeah, that's very
like
Taylor.
So Taylor.
But like that Jake Shane interview where she sees the Taylor Cosmo in the back and she goes, sorry, I was just distracted by this amazing Taylor Cosmo cover you have.
I
was
agree.
Like, okay, Jake Shane, could your dreams come true anymore?
Hey, Jake Sheen. No. Sorry, when I said that, I just had an image immediately of Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. I haven't thought about in ages.
Do you remember that episode when he gets like crazy?
His brain goes so big.
And that episode, like, it was one of the first pieces of media that I think I was equally as horrified by as I was enamored.
And you were like, and this is saying
like
something.
I was like, I can't stop watching this episode of television, but it makes me feel a sickness in my stomach that I can't explain.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay, that's on the Patreon this month, I guess.
My Sheen lore.
And you know what? There was something about you as a kid that was just like so undoubtedly Sheen. I don't know what it was.
I actually think there's a hybrid of me somewhere that's all three of them.
No, you don't really have much Carl, and you're welcome for saying that.
I thought you were going to say, I literally was 1,000% sure you were going to say, there's not that much Jimmy in you.
Well, I don't know how bad of a thing that
Jimmy
would be.
the
He was
genius.
kind of a nerd. He was kind of a social pariah.
Oh, you're right. I just rewrote history in my head. Sheen was the cool guy.
Yeah. Sheen was the one who had the best chance of making it out of there.
Sorry,
and when I say out of there, I mean out of that lame ass friend group.
Can you guys tell that me and Caroline just took our dinner break?
We just took a dinner break. We're back. We're energized. I'm on my 400th milligram of caffeine today. Phoebe's on her second beer.
Yeah.
So we're kind of moving and grooving. It's 10 p.m. This is truly vintage Pretty Little Podcast. Guys, we used to record until like 3 a.m. every time.
And also like,
it would be work the next day.
It would, or like I would be in my dorm room and like headphones on. Now knowing how loud everybody who's ever recorded in the same household as me says that I am, I'm like,
they do say you're so loud, and I kind of love it. I was always a loud one.
My residents must have been like, and then my RA just like talks to herself for like 4 hours, and like I think
I hold space for someone to respond, but there's
It's
no
like,
one
I
there.
can't tell for sure, but I think she's talking about Pretty Little Liars.
They're like, I don't know. I honestly, it gives me the ick to think about it too much. I don't even want to go there. No, well, also think about your neighbor who you talk so much shit on.
No, she sucks.
Yeah, but like, if you don't think she's texting her friends like, holy fuck, the girl below me won't shut up.
Right,
Pretty Little Liars.
And if she thinks that I'm not texting my friends, like, yeah, my neighbor upstairs won't stop having raw dog sex.
They just think you're even. Is what I'm saying.
And she doesn't have a carpet, and her metal frame bed is like going. I'm like, you're gonna fall through the floor. There's already a hole in one part of my ceiling.
There's actually a hole that's ready for you to fall through.
And I'm ready for it too, because when that happens, the screaming I'm gonna do. Also, the plumber still haven't gone to my house.
That's insane.
I had to go to the rental office, leave my key. I sent a video of the leak, but when I left, because it was like super intense.
Good. By the way, guys, in case you're not familiar, there's a hole in Phoebe's bathroom ceiling, and every time her neighbor upstairs flushes the toilet, her shit water comes through the hole.
Guys, it's really bad.
So that's what we're talking about.
But I promise you, like, I'm clean.
The apartment was amazing. We loved it.
Thank you.
I was like, this is such a good spot.
It's just the hole in the ceiling.
Other than that hole in the ceiling, we've got a great
by the
spot
way,
here on our
if
hands.
I were to write Girls 2025,
there would be a hole in the ceiling that filled with shit water.
That would be the first clip. It would be like your roommate taking it like in the bath, or like actually no water in the bath, just sitting in the bath. Other main
on
character,
her computer,
main character going to the bathroom.
Okay. Secondary character in the bathtub watching Netflix on her computer, but angled so that they both can watch. Then main character on the toilet, having severe UTI or something like
terrible's
that.
happening there on the toilet.
It's not a normal bowel movement.
They're posted up in the bathroom.
They're going to be there for a while. Otherwise, why would the other one be in the tub?
The first 15 seconds of the show, suddenly it's the
silence, and they're just like, and then you just get a close up on their eyes as they look up, and then we just see like all this water start pouring down, and they're both like, and they just and then it goes to credits, opening credits. It's also that is like, kind of, I mean, it's not, but like in the same vein as the opening to Broad City, the very first episode where Alana FaceTimes Abby, and
that even better. One of the people is on the toilet FaceTiming their friend who's like at work.
Yes, that would because I'll never forget.
This girl works from home. This girl's Phoebe, by the way. Phoebe Connell.
Oh, by the way, this is nonfiction.
This is just me FaceTiming Mimi.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about. How we got all the way over there.
Me either.
But we were talking about Lorde, Jake Shane, and Sheen. And okay, now I got us back here.
Right.
Jake Shane, what are you doing every other day of the year? Because there's somewhere that really needs you. You're clearly capable of finding the peace, you know? And we need you places.
Imagine he was like, they were like building. I mean, I know the set looks the same every day, but what if that Cosmo's not on there every day and Jake came in and he
changes the Cosmo cover
like,
for everything, and it's the equivalent of I'm so hungry I could eat a Taylor Swift. You know how that trend where it's like you say someone horrible, like everyone's saying years from now Jeremiah's kid is gonna say I'm so hungry I could eat a Huda Mustafa. Equivalent of that is this,
but it's Jake coming in and he's like, I'm just
changing the cover.
We'll just see what she says.
To try and trigger.
I don't even think it's about changing the cover. I think it's just specifically that's his journalism is like he's not baiting all of his guests, but like when Lorde, his girl, comes in, he's like, I know,
but I like the idea that he is. I like the idea that for everyone that comes in, he's rotating that and just he's opening up a door for there to be some sort of revelation, some sort of reaction.
I don't think it can be the Cosmo cover every time because then
it doesn't have to be a
notice.
Cosmo cover. It could be any kind of cover.
I think any kind of cover.
Any kind of magazine cover. But
I think it has to be a thing.
But like the equivalent of someone that there might be some friction with the guest. And then that is what's going to create. Because otherwise it wouldn't have the same effect. No, that was a really big moment. And I don't even know if Ella knew how big of a moment that was.
I can absolutely for sure say she did.
And she leaves. She's like, wow, it really is so confusing to be a girl.
I love how that's just Charlie.
Anyway, wait, I actually need to out you about something right now because we listened to Virgin, okay, me and Phoebe goes, okay, but like, did you see the insert, what was it, the like insert in the physical copy?
Guys, I fell for AI.
She fell for like an insane thing.
But here's what I will say before you got into what it is.
You love to do this, by the way. You love to like just absolutely defend yourself before anyone knows what we're talking about.
Because I think this speaks more about who Ella has been in this journey than it really does about me because I believed in hook, line, and sinker because of everything she's been doing.
Well, and then like
what she's been up to,
your belief in it and my knowledge of who Ella has shown herself to be made me second guess myself, which I rarely do, almost never. but I had one of
Much
those moments
to my chagrin.
because Phoebe's like, Caroline, oh my God, like I just think we took it a little bit too far. Like, did you see?
I still do, by the way, with what was in
No,
the final.
agree.
I still agree with what I said.
So I was like, yeah, I saw it. And I'm thinking of the one where she's wearing like the clear, transparent pants, no undies. But like, you can't really see anything.
Yeah, but like, why did we do that?
And I was like, I know it is like, I mean, Ella,
Sorry
we
to
get
be-
it.
Sorry to be sex negative.
We're going for, yeah, well, this is a sex negative podcast on Tuesdays. But on Thursdays, it's a different
Sex
fucking story.
positive.
If you aren't aware of this, you're only getting half the story if you're not tuning in on Thursdays.
If you're on Patreon, we're sex positive first, woke second.
Yeah, and remember that. Okay, and remember that. Anyway, people are going to either love or hate this episode. No in between. So Phoebe's
the OG Road Warriors are going to love it.
New people are going to be like, what the fuck
hell?
is this? Is this supposed to be pop culture? You're talking about, I don't know, Sheen from Jimmy Neutron, kind of old news. Anyway, Phoebe is like, did you see the other insert, the other like album cover or whatever? And I was like, yeah. And Phoebe's like, that's disgusting. Like Phoebe's like all mad about it. And I was like, wait, because I had seen the AI cover, which I'll try to say it as least graphically as I can, but it is still the x-ray of her pelvis, of her uterus, but this one has a massive dick in it.
Like, how can I say this as clean as I can?
Well, would you rather I say this one has an erect penis stuffed inside the vagina? Because that's way more graphic. Just so you know, it could have been worse. Anyway, big old dick in her x-ray. And I immediately knew it wasn't true because guess what? That wouldn't show up on an x-ray.
Are you positive?
Yeah, an x-ray shows your freaking bones. I feel like there's a lot of the detail that was in that image that would not have come through. Well, I hope on the x-ray. I don't know. I'm not a man and I've never had an x-ray of myself. And now I'm kind of curious.
Guys, okay. Anthony, book the appointment.
Anthony, you need an x-ray of your dick. And I can't explain why. I just know that you do. It's for science. Sure, insurance will cover it. And if they don't, we'll pay out of pocket. This is important work.
What was I gonna say?
Phoebe thought it was the real alternate cover.
I fell for that just like I fell for the kangaroo holding a boarding pass.
Oh, thank you for admitting that. Because
I admitted that a while ago.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
And you hadn't seen it. If you had, you might have fallen for it too.
No, I had seen it.
No, not when we talked about it.
I think I had and I faked it for you. I was being dishonest. I think I had seen it. And I think I was just like, I'll just give her this.
No, I wasn't saying it in a way of like I believed it at the time. I was saying, guys,
I believe it now. That's what you were saying. You're saying I believe it now in this moment.
No, I was saying AI fooled me, and I'm sure it fooled Caroline too. And then you actually you were trying to make me feel better because you
just don't understand how high my IQ is if you think that's true. And I know you don't because I don't even understand how it is.
Famously, I actually can't even fathom how high it would be for me
you know
to
how terrified
my
I am?
IQ from my daughter.
Exactly. That tells you something mental. I just do think that I don't ever want to take another IQ test because what if it's not as high? I know they say it never changes.
But here's the thing. I think that's a myth.
I do too. I'm like,
there's no way. I know more stuff
When
now.
I was actively in school, I promise you I was more prepped for the IQ test than I am today as a 30-year-old. I promise
and
you
I
that.
also think that like, okay, so if you're going to give the test to a kid, it's like they have a whimsy about them that might make the IQ seem higher because they're not thinking through things the way that full-grown adults
the
are.
The mental illness might not have set in yet.
Well, not even that. I just mean like I know how to take a test now.
Yeah.
I didn't then.
I don't remember getting
Mom
IQ
and Dad were not
tested.
worried about testing my IQ.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, none of my other siblings had IQ tests that were of any note. So anywho, we love Virgin, the album, right?
Yeah, and I hate virgins.
And we famous, well, on Thursdays we hate virgins.
Love them here.
We both saw M3 too.
Yes.
Guess what? I went with Kelly and we were in at exactly the right time, in the right theater, saw the whole thing.
God.
Like things went okay. And I was like, you know what? This is sort of amazing because like seeing M3 in #1 was the start of our Dumb and Dumber movie going experience stories, which people love here.
So funny.
What did you think of the second one?
You know, I had fun in the theater.
It's how can you not? It's just is so camp. There were literal children at my theater. I thought it was crazy. I heard the unmistakable like high pitched sound of children being like, "Ma!" I was like, "Get out! What are you doing here?" I know this isn't an American Girl doll movie. Like this is a different kind of doll movie.
Maybe they made the mistake that Kelly made.
I was just like, come on.
They're in the wrong theater, wrong time.
Maybe, but
all the moms were like, "Is this Jurassic Park?"
Yeah. Which also I want to see Jurassic World.
I think I'll see it.
Jonathan Bailey's in it.
I know.
And your doppelganger.
Well, yeah, and that's why I'm.
The problem with you saying it is you might get confused and be like, you might like freak out and be like, oh, sorry, I like thought that was me for a second.
And
I was
guys,
like, you're being chased by a velociraptor, Phoebe, go.
And guys, she's not just talking about Scarlett Johansson. She's talking about the T-Rex.
Yeah. Take
Which,
your
by
pick.
the way, I've started an article, didn't finish it, so I don't have the definitive answer.
Started writing one or reading
No,
one?
I started reading an article, so I don't have a definitive answer on what I'm about to say. But it did dive into the question of whether or not a T-Rex could swim.
I think the answer is a hell no. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this one. Hell no. Article, case closed.
You hear that, T-Rex?
You think, yeah?
Get in the water.
How were they going to swim?
Let's prove her wrong.
Do you know how tired their legs would get? They're so heavy. Their body's so
Oh,
disproportionate.
now we're body shaming.
Well, of course. T-Rexes deserve it. They're famously villains. Sorry, villains deserve to be body shamed.
But I do think once you leave here, I'm going to watch Jurassic Park.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't have to do anything tomorrow.
Okay, well, I have a really packed schedule tomorrow.
You do, I know. I'm kind of jealous. You're going to be on a boat.
I am going to be on a boat. The one thing about the booze cruise I'm going on tomorrow, which is going to be fun.
Is that like
I can't really
company
drink.
is titled?
No, I don't know. It's just what Evan was saying. But I just like can't really drink because I have to go deliver dinner to the cast of
Which,
Finding
hey,
Nemo at the
guys.
theater I'm on the board of.
I told Caroline, don't let kids get in the way of you having a good day tomorrow.
Phoebe's obsessed when I'm drunk. She's like, the kids will
No, but
literally.
I think
she was
there's-
Caroline. You're gonna walk in sober, then be like, oh, you walk in drunk, they're like, yeah.
I just think that's also very Broad City would be like going on a booze cruise, getting hammered, and then going to the Finding Nemo dress rehearsal.
I also have to like talk to the cast because I'm gonna be emceeing an event that the theater is doing in September. And
guys, do you guys ever have
I
moments
sell
where
it.
Caroline tells you things that she's doing in her life, and you're just like, huh?
The craziest thing was that I did get an email the other day. Sorry, I didn't respond. I got an email the other day from someone who was like, hi, we're looking for a professional Odyssey of the Mind coach. I understand that you've coached Odyssey of the Mind in the past. Are you open to it? What are your rates? I was like, girl, you can't afford me.
I know you're a main character, and I know.
Thank you.
But you do, because of your jobs,
It gives like Harper from Wizards Away from the place. Like,
have
what
the
have you been
energy,
up to?
No, literally Austin and Allie.
But it
Rodriguez.
also gives, I mean, that's nonstop content for the main character. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
you're making room for people in your life.
so, and tell me about it. But that is crazy that I did coach an Odyssey of the Mind group during COVID. And then when they won first place. And I'll never do it again.
That's Alana from Broad City.
I will never do it again. So I didn't respond.
I've been loving the TikToks of like me in the theater in November when Wicked happens, and it's like Ariana and Cynthia in the interviews, and they're like me to the concession worker who scanned my ticket at Wicked, and they're like, thank you so much. Like you are light.
I start crying and I'm
Yes.
like, thank you for being here and doing this important job.
Yes.
This important work today.
Literally.
I can't wait to see. I really think about it every day. I'm like, you got to make it through this year because here's the deal.
I can't die without seeing it.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm honestly like, next year, all bets are off. Because like, what will there be?
There'll be something. Maybe a Taylor album.
Maybe. I mean, that's a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. Mostly our country still has to be intact. But you didn't think that was funny? That's a laughing matter to you. You don't agree? Anyway, I was like, you know what? It is going to be such a fucking bummer next year though. Like, we're going to be a little bit heartbroken walking out of the theater after seeing Wicked Part 2 because we're going to be like,
think about it like this.
because last year we were like, not only do I get to see this again, there's more to come. And I get another press tour.
Totally, but you will have eternal access to part 1 and 2.
I know, but I don't think that Ari's Meet the Parents press tour is gonna compare. You know,
No, but it could
they're not
be
gonna
kinda
give me the
fun.
dopamine rush I'm currently
It
getting.
could be fun though with Robert De Niro.
Fun, but it's not gonna actually fill my heart.
That's true. I was listening on the way here, obviously, to show tunes.
Of course.
On the way to Pittsburgh from Nashville.
By the way, best things to do on a road trip. It keeps you awake. It's like a podcast, but it's a song.
And you're part of it.
And if you're off book, you can be part of it. Phoebe, that was kind of bold of you to assume that everybody can be part of it. You've got to kind of know the words. You've got to kind of be off book.
I think I'm only talking to people who are off book.
Okay. Just continue to make our audience smaller and smaller.
But one song that you don't have to be off book to hear because it's just perfect and you don't even want to mess with it is Cynthia Erivo's "I'm Here."
Oh well, of course, and you actually shouldn't sing along.
No.
Like if I were playing that song,
over.
you should pull over for the car and bark and emergency brake on. Okay,
and just listen.
Just
close your eyes
seat
and
back,
listen.
lean your seat back, and just listen. And even better if you have a projector in your car and you can project her doing it on Broadway on your ceiling and lay back and watch
Like
that.
the original
That's
version,
preferable, of course.
The original version's great, but there is something about the way Cynthia Erivo sings.
And I'm sorry, but that video, you can see it where she like hits the floor when she gets into the I believe. Oh my god,
she's so good.
By the way, not to like make this about me, But just someone did respond to the video of me singing Better Than Revenge at Karaoke and said, Caroline, I didn't know you could sing. I was offended. I was
Caroline
like,
and I just got into like widely talked about a fight about how Caroline
widely talked about amongst you all.
About how
America is buzzing with the news of our latest fight about how I don't think Phoebe thinks I'm a good singer.
I mean, they talked about it literally on CNN.
But I am a great singer.
You are.
You looked away. I still don't fucking believe you.
This is such self-induced insecurity.
Okay, that's mean.
Well, I mean,
No, hey, this insecurity is not coming from me.
I literally thought you were putting the hand on your hand on the couch, getting up, and you were gonna put the mic down and walk away.
And I quit. And just like that, I just talked a big game about how we're gonna be the first podcast to ever finish
Just
Pretty Little
Like
Liars,
That.
and it's over.
Speaking of and just like that, I really need to get back into Sex and the City because I think that will. I'm gonna watch Sex and the City through and then watch Girls again.
Okay, perfect. God, I love Girls. Okay, well, speaking of Girls, I do want to say that Allison Williams' makeup in Megan and M3gan, sorry.
And I can't wait till the third one is called M3gan and
we're like, okay, check please. Money please.
Hey, Allison Williams, I know you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and I have a hard time believing ours isn't on your list.
We're literally an Allison Williams fan cast.
Yeah, exactly. Her makeup in the opening scene, I was like, I have to write in my notes right now that this is giving Marnie's wedding makeup.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but the makeup she wears in M3gan is the same makeup that Marnie fucking hates for her wedding episode.
What do you think Marnie would think of Miss Forrester?
Is that her character's name?
Mm-hmm. I can't think of her first name. That's why I call her that.
I think she'd be like a girl boss.
Absolutely.
Girl boss and an inspiration because she's raising her niece.
I think only girl boss in the first movie. Second movie, she's like, it's eye roll.
Really? You think?
For her advocacy.
Oh, okay.
She's like, so you like screw over everybody and now you're like, look at me on a TED Talk.
You think, but that's so Marnie.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's so Marnie.
Guys, speaking of Marnie and speaking of Allison Williams and speaking of M3gan and Girls, you should go listen to her episode of Las Culturistas.
It was the best episode of the Las Culturistas I've heard in a long time.
It's so clear when you hear a true fan on the show. Because like they understand the bit, you know, and they're like with you and they can jump in or jump out. They know when to step out.
That she had a notes list of culture that made culture.
No, I thought that was because it's so us.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. I have multiple. I don't think so, honey's on my phone.
And I love that she was like, if I only get this opportunity once, I will fill the time with all of this. And I thought she was just absolutely delightful. She's so self-aware and also like aware of her characters and sort of like the discourse. And I love that she's not bothered by the Marnie discourse.
Like I loved the part where by that, but I also think that like, and I don't know this to be true about this actress, but that like Jessa seems like someone who like would be like, can we stop talking about girls?
Yeah.
Whereas Allison Williams is like, I'll talk about it forever. And there was at one point where it sounded like she was segueing, like she was pushing the conversation back towards Megan.
And then she was like, wait, I don't think we're done talking about girls yet.
I don't want you to think that I was like, we need to get the show on the road.
I
like,
know.
She was like, I will talk about girls forever.
I love that. And it's like, it's nice too, because I think, well, Girls is such a special show to Matt and Bowen. So I think it's like
thinking about them, right, getting out of NYU,
watching
that show being out, and also
it's
thinking
their
about
Broad City.
Thinking about Matt going over to Bowen's apartment and leaving, knowing in his heart of hearts that he thinks he's a Marnie, seeing the "Don't be a Marnie" on the door.
Oh no, I know. It's
also,
painful.
Matt, you're a shosh.
And I like that they're like, no, we all have Marnie.
That's why we all hate her so much.
It's like she is what we're trying so hard not to be, but like you can't help it sometimes. And sometimes in trying so hard not to be something, you become that, you know?
I don't love her Gen Z take on
I don't think it's so true.
Like, I don't think Gen Z likes Marnie.
And that is her take. So she's been saying that she feels like millennials were like, we have to hate her because she's so close to who we are or whatever. And then Gen Z comes in and they like see her for what she is, and they're like,
she also
right?
What I don't like about what she says is she thinks that Gen Z sees in Marnie like boundaries and like putting yourself first.
And let's be
clear.
I'm like,
wait, but those are the things that are bad about Marnie,
right? And also Marnie, it's not a healthy.
That's not why she's doing it.
Like she shouldn't be someone that you watch and you're like, and that's a healthy boundary.
It's bad.
No, she is so far on that. And that's the thing about all of the characters and girls. They're all so imperfect. There are things you can take from all of them. And there are things that they do that you should learn from. And we talked about this already, like off the pod, but I love how she acknowledges Lena Dunham's brilliance in writing that show and her ability to write that show without any distance from that time in her life. Like that is crazy. The vision there, like, I don't know. I think that I love hearing people talk about projects that they seem to understand how special it was and how lucky they were to be a part of it.
Yes, I love it.
Instead of thinking like, I don't want to talk about that thing that like defines me. You know what I mean?
And I also loved when she was talking about the monoculture of like, when she was like, Mondays were really hard when the show was airing because it was the show that was on HBO at 9 p.m. and everybody was watching. Yeah. So every Monday there was an article about like how vapid Lena Dunham is and like all these like people just didn't get like, this sounds so pretentious, but like they thought that Lena Dunham saw herself as like this cool girl. They didn't see
they thought she was writing Hannah as a perfect character.
They thought that like they were the rest of the world who was critiquing the show, they were in on the joke and Lena Dunham wasn't. And it's like
anyone who was like,
she's in on the joke.
Yeah, it's like no, that's, you just don't think she's in on the joke because she wrote the character, is playing it, and is currently at that time in her life.
And you can't imagine that she would write herself as unlikable.
Exactly. And it's like, so you think that that's what she imagines as a protagonist and a likable character. It's not. That's the point. Is also no one's that likable when they're in their early 20s. And like, I'm not saying that to you.
Wow.
But it is true. Like,
except me.
Those are, you're really and we've talked about this, like those are your struggle years in a major way. Like there are other struggles, but it's like, not only you're literally thrown into a world after college where like you've had all these systems to support you and to make friends for you and give you things to do. And like, you can find so much of your self-worth and your identity in the circles that you are like, that the community and society is programmed to put you in. And then suddenly it's like, well, you're on your own. You don't have any of that now, but go figure it out. And you're like, well, actually, who the fuck am I? So you're figuring out how to survive, who you are, who your people are, what's next, what's your future, like all these things. And it's fucking messy. And if it's not messy, it's a lie. Like it should be messy.
Totally.
And you're gonna make mistakes. And I think overcompensating does this in a really nice way too, where it's like, we acknowledge that every single one of these characters has flaws and is gonna do shitty things.
Me at the saloon trying to explain why they need to watch it by trying to explain Haley Marie Holmes. Wait, what the fuck is her name? Haley Marie Matthews.
Yeah.
Also known as
and she improvised that.
She did?
Yes. She goes, the beautiful thing is Benny just let me like literally improvise whatever I wanted. So yes, I think she also made up Haley Marie Matthews. I think that she made up the full name and the
we know she improvised the flipping him off as he walked out of the room.
So good.
But also
as she films him.
That was another thing that Allison Williams was like, Andrew Rannells improv'd Your Dad's Gay.
And then later on, and I wonder if
because I remember we had talked about, I was like, do you think that when they wrote that in the script, they knew that the dad was going to be gay?
Yeah.
Now knowing Andrew Rannells improvised it, it's like,
I wonder if he and Lena Dunham had a conversation where they're like, what if like, do you think he's one day gay? And like, because if not, I wonder how much it's either they had a conversation in real life and Andrew Rannells like brought that conversation into the show, or that improvisation in the show, Lena Dunham was like, wait, I never thought about that.
That could be so fun.
He's gay. And like, that's going to be
also the scene where Shoshana is like, I think Jessa says, Shosh, you're such a mean drunk. And Marnie goes, it's crazy. It just shows that was improv. They're like, Shosh, you're such a mean drunk. Marnie goes, it's crazy.
The show is just
Which I also got a kick out of Allison Williams going, what I loved was like, I could just like do what I was trained to do at the show because we were allowed to improv.
She's like, and that's all I know how to do. And I'm like, that surprises me.
That's
actually.
like where my training was.
I love that,
like,
but that's not what I expect for her at all. I know. I expect her in like a musical theater, like ingenue creation class, you know? Okay, moving on. Dancing with the Stars cast announcement. We have 3 people confirmed, and like crazy to me. We just watched some of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I do just want to touch on this now. We've got Whitney Lovett, Jen Affleck, and Alex Earl. Confirmed.
Alex, I don't think we need to do that.
Alex, you are way too big for
maybe
this.
Ashton.
But except for, maybe Ashton. Except for, you know what? I really do feel like it's probably becoming such a massive like launch pad for some of these stars.
I never watched
to show them in a different. I don't watch it either, but everyone seems to be like dying to do it.
I feel like and they wanted everybody in the rest of the world wants to know what the cast is going to look like. But I think
it seems like something you either do right at the start of your prime or at the end.
Alex kind of gives, maybe it's like a show she liked or like she always likes keeping up with, and now she's in a position to be like, sure, I'll do it.
I also think it brings her to we also have to think about the exposure to new audiences. Like, I think Alex Earl is trying to make a pivot into more of like serious kind of media things. Like, I think that makes sense for her. And I wonder if this is their way to kind of reposition her and get her like on shows like Good Morning America and things like that. Because right now her audience is so limited to if you're on TikTok. You know what I mean? So I feel like that, I don't know, that might help with her.
I'm sure she'll be great though.
Reach. But I'm like not going to be able to watch Whitney seriously.
I mean, I'm not watching because she's going to be taking it seriously,
I know.
which is always never enjoyable.
And the problem is she's like going to be trying so hard, and I feel like she's not going to do that well because people fucking hate her.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like so embarrassing because she tried so hard. You know what I mean? Anywho. Katie in Orlando. Okay. Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom. Breakup.
That's crazy.
You didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming necessarily, but I do think that we need to start considering the Vanguard curse.
Oh my God.
Because
Speak on it.
Taylor introduced Kanye's Vanguard performance. And then, and that was supposed to be like, see their friends again.
Right.
And then quickly after that, not friends anymore. Because then the phone call was like after that.
Oh my God.
Which is, that is like, Kim, you sat next to her.
No, it's crazy. And the fact, and like, look, Kim, love you. But the fact that now she's like, no, Taylor and I are fine. It's like, no, I promise you.
I don't think Taylor's fine.
I promise you, Taylor does not feel the same.
You don't know our girl like we do.
Don't speak for her. She's definitely not cool.
And you don't know what she's capable of.
No, and you don't know, frankly, what she's planning. And well, neither do I.
But then Orlando introduced Katie.
Oh.
So now if there's a third that happens, and maybe there's one I'm missing that it has already happened.
Clue us in.
But if there's a third one that happens, that's a pattern.
Well, did you hear the insanity of who he was just spotted with in Italy?
Wait, I saw the pictures.
Sydney Sweeney. That blows my mind. Okay, yes, he's a certified hottie. And yes, when I was younger at Limited 2, they used to sell shirts that said, I heart Orlando, and I had one.
He was also like, he was the celebrity that was name dropped and everything.
He was the hot guy.
Orlando
that was during
Bloom's my
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like, he was like,
I mean, him and Keira Knightley in that movie, it was like, oh my God.
Sparks flying everywhere.
It was amazing.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's bonkers if he and Sydney Sweeney start dating.
Especially this recently.
Did not see that coming. She feels like Alex Earl to me in my mind. She's like the equivalent of like the movie industry's Alex Earl.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? Like actually good at what she does, and like people actually take her seriously, but on first glance you don't think that you should.
What
you
is
know?
going on?
And
here?
that's, I'm like, but I'm also kind of mourning the loss of the Glenn Powell thing. Like, Sydney, what the heck? I thought we were doing that.
Like, please.
Come on. I need it for me. Do it.
Seriously.
I know you don't owe me, but if you did, I believe you would
I
do
watched
this
that
for me.
football scene from Top Gun, which I've never watched the movie, much to Dad's chagrin. He loves that movie so much. I'll watch it anytime it's on TV.
Are you going to watch that after Jurassic Park tonight? Because now we're talking about it.
No, because I'm just like not interested. I'm not interested in a movie like that, but I am interested in the beach scene.
Well, I don't even know what the beach
where they're
scene
playing
is.
football shirtless, all of them.
Oh, Miles
Teller, Glenn Powell.
Here's
Tom
the thing.
Cruise, I think, has a shirt on.
Every movie that my husband suggests to me is a boy movie. How do I define a boy movie? Both the main characters are boys. And Anthony's always like, oh, can we watch this movie? I think you'll really love it. And sometimes I will, but it's like every movie, he's like, and these two guys are in it. And I'm like, that's fine, but I don't want to watch every movie. It's just like boys.
I agree. There's a lot of boy movies out right now.
Always.
I went to go look at my AMC. I was like, what do I want to see while I'm here? Nothing right now.
Nothing.
Except Jurassic World.
The only girl movie is M3 again. And I mean,
I already saw. I don't need to see it more than once.
Those are robots. Those are actually
and by the
AI.
way, I forgot how much I fucking hate the kid.
No, I know she's awful. She's so annoying. She's not a good actor.
Such
Sorry.
a little brat, and also ungrateful to Megan.
Ungrateful to her aunt too.
Well, for sure. But I mean, like, Megan like redid your whole room down here.
Megan also like saved your asses over and over.
Hey, you know where your aunt's sleeping down in this layer? On an office chair? You have a whole ass bedroom.
Oh yeah. No, I
and you're still being a brat?
Hey, Katie rubs me the wrong way.
You're still gonna run away, you bitch.
Okay. What do you think about the Kardashian Jenners bearing all about their plastic surgery?
I haven't seen anything about that.
Okay, they're all like coming out and saying it, which I think is great. It's just such an interesting turn. Kylie came out. Someone commented on a picture of her. I want to say it was one of the photos from when she and Timmy made their debut, and they were like asking about her boob job. They're like, I want to know. She responded with exactly what it is and the doctor. Okay, which everyone was like, holy fuck. Well, that she did that. Khloe Kardashian just came out and did it. Someone goes, can you walk me through everything you've had done? She commented,
is something, and I know people can't stand them, and you can have your opinion on plastic surgery and everything. But I do, and I think it probably comes from being on a reality show for the last 20 years. of like you are used to that level of transparency, but
Mhm.
I do think there's value in that.
100%.
People act like the plastic surgery is like they're trying to dupe everybody into thinking that's how they were born looking.
And I will be clear, like I think that there have been times where that has been the truth. Like, and the truth is, because they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
If they start to age naturally and you don't like how they look,
Right.
then you're going to tear them apart for that. If they age with the enhancements that are available to them and they tell you, then you're like, well, you're so fucking vapid and obsessed with how you look. If they don't tell you, then you're like, you're a fucking liar. Like, they really can't win.
Totally.
But now we're at this place where people are like doing it so much more. They're talking about it. And I think
I am so curious to see like how it all ages.
we're
Still like so in it and like so close to when it started that like.
Well, Kris Jenner just had her whole like facelift. She tagged the doctor.
I think she looks great. But I just mean like when we are in our 40s and 50s, how are our kids like when our kids are teenagers? What are they going to think of like the plastic surgery?
I also am just like, please God, can we stop getting so good at it? Because some of us can't afford it and some of us would like to. Okay. And I don't need that to be like, we don't need it to be the new beauty standard. I feel like we're good with what we've got.
But also, I mean, then you have to look at like the way when people watch movies, they're like, I miss when people had different faces. Everybody looks the same now.
Well, you were just appreciating in Ginny and Georgia that Brienne Howie doesn't have Botox and like her face moves. And also I think I was watching the Mean Girls musical movie last night and it is like, you can't be playing a high schooler if you've got Botox. I'm sorry, but your head needs to move. It's at the point now where I think you look younger if your face moves than if it doesn't. And who really makes me think that is Paige DeSorbo because she's had no work done. And she's always been really adamant on Giggly that like she will tell us the second that she does, but she wants to hold off as long as she can.
And I think the real issue, like Botox is one thing I feel like in like your, like there's certain, obviously the movement is one thing.
Yeah.
But where people really get into trouble with how it makes them look is the filler.
Oh my God, the filler is a nightmare.
In the end, these people get blindness to it. Like
exactly, and that's the other.
They get addicted
it's just with anything,
and they feel like they have to keep maintaining these levels. And it's like
here's a good way to think of it. Have you ever seen somebody whose like eyelash extensions were so dramatic? And I used to have really dramatic eyelash.
Guys, this
extensions.
is Hannah Marin shade.
It kind of is, but it's also like Huda shade. It's also me shade. Like it's the whole eyelash extension trend. Like. You see people who start out really natural and they get more because they can't fucking tell anymore. And they look and like you see someone and you haven't seen them before and you see their eyelashes and you're like, holy shit. That's not how they see themselves. That is how you look to people when you're like getting all this filler and whatever. You're used to it. But the people who just see you, they're like, whoa, you don't look like a normal human sometimes. I'm not judging. Honestly, there have been so many times in my life I've wanted to do it. The only reason now I think I really wouldn't do filler is because of the pain.
That's fair. I just think we all look at ourselves too much.
We do. We think about ourselves too much. And the phones aren't helping. But
we certainly think about ourselves
Khloe
too much.
Kardashian, here's what we have. Ready? I'm gonna read it to you all so you can go do it if you want. She got a nose job from
Imagine the next picture we post. I've done all of it.
Phoebe's like black and blue, her entire body's bandaged. And I'm like, wait, 3 weeks? You're not gonna believe your eyes.
We don't say anything about it.
Yeah, we literally never acknowledge it. But all the reels I post from now on, you're fully bandaged. Like a burn victim, basically. Okay. Nose job from Dr. Canodia 90210. Laser hair for the hairline and everywhere else. I thought that was interesting. From Zev Laser Aesthetics.
This is what's like what I will say is like we don't need to be giving people ideas. I like the transparency to an extent.
No,
like,
I know.
Why are we doing half of this shit?
That is one of the things I'm saying. Like
we're creating
stop getting so good at these
insecurities
things.
for people.
Yeah. Botox and Sculptra, where my face tumor was removed in my cheek. At 7Q Spa. Soft wave laser for skin tightening. Soft wave therapy. Filler in the past, but not any over the last few years. I hear it never goes away, so I'm sure it's still there, but calm down. Lost 80 pounds over the years, slow and steady, at coachjoe.paris. Collagen baby threads underneath my chin and neck at thethingswedo.co. Salmon sperm facials / regular facials, peptides, vitamins, and daily skincare. Which is honestly less than I thought she had done.
Because I honestly, not to be fucked up and not to comment on a woman's body, that's what this whole conversation is. I did think she got something done to like her butt or something.
Yeah, I think that was maybe, I mean, who knows? And again, like, I also believe that you guys don't have to tell us. Like,
yeah,
it's cool of you to do it because I do think
in the like, because then it's, I think an important part of it is, I think, especially probably young men, they are starting to think that
that's what
they're
women
natural.
Are supposed to be looking like.
And especially, like, not to get into too deep of a conversation, but I think consumption of porn,
Yeah.
the women in those videos
Mhm.
are women that are doing that stuff
Yeah.
to their body. So these young men are like, that's what I expect.
Yes.
And that's what I think any woman who doesn't look like that or has natural features
Yeah.
is ugly.
That's what I think is so troubling too about the whole like Bonnie Blue thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there are men in the world who are like, well, my girlfriend won't allow me to do this, but there are women out there who will. And if you won't, I'll just go be with someone who will.
I
Like,
didn't know how
they're
much
starting
fucking, I didn't know. I thought she was like, because I remember when she initially was in the news with the other girl, the younger girl. I thought that there was a massive age difference between them, because to me, Bonnie Blue looks.
She looks
40.
weathered. Yeah. She looks
And
old.
she's under the age of, she's closer to my age.
I know.
I was like, what?
It's like horrible. It's so horrible.
What are you thinking?
And I think like it's just that is where it gets really dangerous for women, is it's like women don't need to start thinking that they have to do crazy things like this to get men to like them. Like I hate that. And men, frankly, I'm sorry, they don't deserve this all. They don't
so gross.
They don't deserve access to women like that. Okay.
No.
So let's stop rewarding these men for being fucking monsters. Because the men who are going and taking advantage of those opportunities are nightmares, are monsters. Like stay far the fuck away.
And I'm just worried about their safety. I mean, something is going to go wrong.
Yes, I'm worried about everyone in the situation. Anyway, moving on from that. Okay, let's just get into Love Island, because I want to get into reality TV. The things that we missed, we will talk about in the podcast. All right, let's talk about what's going on with Cierra online.
Woof.
Dude, it's crazy.
Fall
Okay,
from
so
grace.
what'd you say?
Like
Massive fall from grace.
immediate.
We saw like the biggest follower drop ever the night after
And what
the
mailbox.
Stand on Business challenge.
But what kills me is her handler, her friend that was doing her social media for her, like 2 days before that, people were like, she's not, like, it says something about her follower account.
Okay.
And the girl went on live and was like, everybody's saying this to me, but it's like when she hits 1 million in 2 days.
Saying what about her follower account?
Like saying like she was going to lose followers, it wasn't going to last, like all this stuff. Just giving the idea of Sierra's following a hard time.
Okay.
Just being critical of it.
Yeah.
And her friend got on live and was like, you guys are saying this, you guys are saying this. What about when Cierra gets 1 million followers in 2 days?
This is embarrassing.
She was like, oh, because at the time she was on track. With the amount of followers she was gaining each day, she would have hit 1 million. And then she lost fucking like 200,000 followers.
Now she's in like the sixes right now.
Like that's crazy.
Which is crazy.
And she was at like 9.
Yeah. Her, Shelly, and Alandria all lost in her followers. It's so iconic to see that Amaya Papaya, nobody is running her social.
I love
Nobody
her.
is over there trying to get the campaign, trying to get people following. And she is at like 1.5 million. Which also it's crazy because last season, Leah was the first Love Island contestant ever to reach 1 million followers. So now that that's like more normal, it really is turning into like The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like that.
I mean, the
in
Bachelor was like
golden age of
totally,
you know, Becca Martinez and like that era. Okay, so Cierra basically we found, and they were like stories in her highlights on her page.
This is
about her going to get Botox.
I have 2 things to say just about the idea of like the scavenging, that because I was like, it's a story post. How do we have this?
How are people finding this?
All this stuff. One, if you're gonna go on a show, you shouldn't be saying shit like this.
No.
That's number 1. Number 2, if you're gonna go on a show,
you better.
I don't care if it's monotonous. You better watch through every story highlight.
Exactly. And if you're not gonna hire somebody else, get a second pair of eyes. Like I bet you there are people whose jobs it is to scrub your pages. And I think that honestly, like, I don't know.
My third thing though is the people that are looking for it. A little bit.
This is the real lesson, because let me tell you how this came out. All right, this is insane. Somebody who was following Cierra.
Yo, I just turned the fan on. Sue me if there's noise.
Okay, well,
it just got a little hot.
Cierra put out a story, and it was her getting Botox, and it was like, I get Botox because my eyes look a little, and she used a slur for Asian people. And she said that, and she put it on her story. And then she put that story in her highlights. But someone who has followed her, who like knows her, screenshotted it at the time.
At the time.
And also and said.
Sorry, a story like that also, though, it gives fame hungry. Like,
yes.
If you're posting stories like I do, I get Botox and this is me, a picture of me at the doctor's office, it gives you want to be an influencer so bad.
And like, it's pretty clear from her social presence that she did, especially finding out that like she's friends with people who went on Love Island. She had Love Island themed birthday parties.
Also.
Like, yeah, like she she definitely has wanted this and like pretty much has been training for this. She also looks unrecognizable. I went all the way back in her Instagram to her first picture just to see, like, it's a different person.
I didn't notice her lip until people started being mean about it in the comments. But now every time
Amazing how people will just open your eyes.
Every
like
time
that.
I see her side profile, I am like,
I know.
whoa.
So,
and that's a lesson if you're getting Botox, because I bet you she only ever looks in the mirror from the front.
but I do also
She's
feel like
not
she like
looking at her
pushes her
side
lips
profile.
out constantly. Like, yeah, she kind of does.
Well,
her
she kind of
pout.
does. That's like her. She does this pouty look.
Yeah, which I literally was giving her the benefit of the doubt, thought maybe that's just what her lips looked like, and thought that was just her face until I really went back and saw what she looked like. And it's nothing like this. But anyway, she posted this. Someone screenshots it at the time and they tweeted about it and said, I was like having some beef with her friend group and I thought this might come in handy. I should just screenshot it. That's the lesson, because I bet that person isn't even someone that Cierra like knows or remembers. It's just someone who happened to see it and like had whatever kind of feeling. I mean, they said they had some beef with their friend group, so maybe. But the idea that somebody could take a story and just save it.
Well, it's a massive
because
lesson.
they think they could maybe use it.
It's
You
what
need to
teachers have
think.
been telling us forever.
Yes.
Your digital footprint.
And
is
mom's
forever.
gonna listen and be like, and your mom. So and mom
And mom,
has
of
been
course.
too. But no, I know. And then someone else screenshotted it because they're a different person responded to the story at the time and said,
I didn't see this.
girl, that's a slur. You shouldn't say that, and sent her a screenshot of what the slur means. And Cierra responded and said,
no.
oh, damn, good thing I didn't use it that way, and left it up. Like, that story wasn't taken down until her handler took it down because people found it. But like, somebody posted it and said, hey, this is out there. And then they were able to go find it because I think she has all her highlights, like all my cosmetic procedures,
Right.
like all these things.
That is, sorry.
So she was aware, she was told, she left it up. And the other thing I'm going to say is there's another post of her and she's on top of a mountain and she posted the slur again, saying
The same slur?
Yes, and saying even at the top, I look like this. Yes. So it's not like a one-time thing. It's
also like,
it's not like, oh, she didn't know and she learned and she took it down and she felt so horrible. I also felt like her response was like a little sassy.
No,
now,
it is-
granted, this is all stuff I'm finding on Twitter, but like these are screenshots people are posting.
I hate when people won't just like take accountability. I also hate.
What sucks too is that she
gives woke friend.
I know. Well, especially her whole vibe in the villa is that she's like the mature, emotionally,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's exactly what I mean. I was getting the sense that she's the girl who's always posting on her story.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe.
But
that
you know
got
what?
from
I
her.
really, really did not fucking like her response during the Stand on Business challenge when they were like, do you guys know how not quiet you are when you're having sex in the room with all of us? And she was like, look, I try to be as respectful as I can. We were celebrating. Fuck y'all. Okay, you don't try to be as respectful as you can, because if you did, you, one, wouldn't do it. Like, do what Iris and TJ did. Go to the Hideaway. Go somewhere else. But two, like, don't act like you're trying to be respectful. You're like doing different crazy positions every night. People have already made comments about how they can hear you. Like,
No, it's weird.
It's not respectful.
It's not.
It's just
And
don't
I
do it or
also
go somewhere
think, like,
else.
And I don't mean to sound like that too woke friend, but like it's not consensual.
It brings in a very interesting question of consent. The show
and
is
having
bringing it
them
in.
you and I both, we said this last season, the challenges where someone has a blindfold on and they don't know who's
Dude,
kissing
it makes
them.
me feel weird. I'm sure they sign ironclad contracts
they
saying
must.
I will kiss anybody, and also I'm sure that like every single person that's brought in has been STD tested, has been all like I'm confident that they are taking those precautions, because how could they not? Nonetheless, I just would never feel comfortable if it was somebody I had not laid eyes on before kissing me and I wasn't aware, like being tricked, thinking it's gonna be someone I know. Like I don't like that idea, but I am sure they all agreed to it. You know, I just don't. I would not be comfortable with that one bit.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think it's interesting. I'm excited for movie night. Apparently, there are rumors swirling that the producers are like trying to figure out what to do about Cierra. Like,
Well, I think
is it too late to take her out?
A tweet that they, and this is where I'm like, okay, two things. One is I have three things I need to say, and I'm trying to figure out the best order.
Okay.
The first is I saw a tweet that said they were hoping that Cierra might be in the bottom 3 so that they could, because they were kicking out so many people that night.
Oh, yeah.
And they were doing their best to get her out organically.
Mm.
And then, because it's not like when Yulissa was kicked out in the very beginning.
Oh.
And also, so then my my thought after that is, well, why didn't production just put her up there? But then I read, because there's a cash prize,
They can't
rig anything.
I know. And that's also, people were like, I think the producers are trying to make Nicolandria happen. And what I think happened is, if it had been anybody else who was ousted from the villa/casa, they would have been sent home.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it was Alandria and Nick, I think the producers gave them the option, but it had to be their own decision, you know, and they were able to stay. But I don't think the producers like told them to do that, made that happen, because again, yeah, it's illegal. There's a cash prize. I know. So it really does change the way you view this. That's not the case in The Bachelor. So it's like a little bit different. I do wonder, like,
because then there's the ring. I do wonder like what their rules are.
Yeah, but they do have rules about the ring. So it's like you have to be,
because it's not like a cash prize they just hand over.
Right. You have to be together for like 2
years.
Yeah, you have to be together for a certain amount of time to keep it after the fact.
I think Caitlin Bristow got to keep her ring.
She got to keep hers because it was like, I think it's like 5 years. Like, I think it's a long time. But with Cierra, the other thing, like with Yulisa, it was like so immediate that people were able to forget about her that fast. We're at a point now where Cierra is so deeply embedded in the storyline of Love Island that if she were to just disappear from the villa,
it would also have to be talked about.
Exactly. There would be no way for them to just like edit out the conversations about her or skim over it or whatever, because there's no way to talk about Nick.
He would also I think he would be like, well, you have to fucking tell me why.
Right. Like, it would be a huge thing. And I think it would also really freak everybody out in the villa. Imagine
about what's going on out here.
Because that is the only thing that makes me feel a little bit bad for Cierra, is just the idea that like she's going to come out and not only see that like she's basically being canceled for this, which like, again,
she should be,
but like her friends like publicly being like, we're out of here, like
it's and
all this stuff. It's just like,
that
would be, they need to very much prepare her.
And Caroline has been talking about and I think it shows that the show's also thinking about this, because they didn't include the tweet challenge. But like I never really thought about it in that way of like, they are so isolated. They're completely isolated. And then you're getting thrown into this world of like the most intense cyberbullying that you could,
and like also, the most fame, like,
and our algorithms are so like highly tuned now that it's not even like, I feel like when the internet initially started, there were so many different conversations happening, and it wasn't like you log on to TikTok and every TikTok is about Love Island.
Right.
Whereas when they get off the island, it's going to be like, they're going to literally see, it's going to be fed to them.
Yes.
Every bad and also it's, so I know Nick Viall loves to be like, don't read the comments, but it's like,
how
that's
can you not? And these
like,
people also, like, for most of these people, I think they're not used to this level of discourse about themselves. It's not natural.
No.
You want to read it. You can't help it.
Right.
I think that indifference to the comments or ability to shut it out comes from years of experience in the spotlight. I also think Cierra, with her knowledge of the show, her friends on the show, the way she's carrying herself on the show, is going to be shocked. She's not going to expect this at all. I think it seems to me like she expects to be a fan favorite.
I think so too. And I actually think Shelly also thought that. I think Alandria thinks it and probably still thinks it.
Dude, the Shelly and Ace of it all during the ranking challenge. It was, and like, Shelly was my girl. I'm so bummed, but like, she really has been pissing me off, because here's the thing, Shelly, like, Huda is allowed to explore this relationship, and I can't help but like her and Chris together.
Her conversation with Chris this episode, I was like, I know this is ending with you guys being like cool and like not pursuing this anymore.
Yeah.
But I can't help but get the energy from Shelly in the beginning part of the conversation. That she was like, but we'll see. It's
giving dangling the carrot. Yes. Like, if you want me, you should still work for it, even though I'm taken. Like, you should really still show me how much, because there could be a chance. Like, it was like and you know what? It really brings into the COVID dating age, where just like these people, even the ones who seem really emotionally mature,
they want every option open. And also, there's this.
I don't know what it is.
I've been hearing this on a couple podcasts I listen to. They're talking about what dating apps have done to our culture too. Is that there's this idea that, well, what if 3 swipes from now there's someone even better than this person,
right?
And then that translates into your real life when you're talking to multiple people. It's like, well, I don't want things to get too serious with this person, because what if something comes up with this person?
Right. Exactly.
Whereas like when our parents were dating, it was like, I just really like this person, so I'm going to date them.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm not going to be worried about what the next bombshell that comes in.
No. did you see that Jeremiah got out of the villa and immediately started a book club?
Yes. Wait, I saw the live of him where someone suggested it and he goes, oh my God, that would be awesome.
It's like so cute. But I saw, okay, so he made like his book club and he made a list of books for people to vote on to read. And Phoebe, I'm sorry, but like you're going to fucking die. I thought I saved the list. I didn't. But some of the books are It Ends With Us. They're all like this. Twisted Love. Like they're all like basically the book talk books.
Reese Witherspoon's book club.
And one of them he put on there and then he responds in the chat and says, take that out of the list. It's too inappropriate.
Lisa Fraser's kids.
Like I was just like, oh my God, like is he a wholesome king?
I'm also like, imagine if he and Huda had made it out of the villa together and like
Huda, you would have been outie so fucking fast, my girl. Like, oh my God, it's wild. I think it's so amazing to see Amaya getting to see the love. Zach, count your fucking days,
pissed.
okay?
I'm pissed.
He doesn't deserve this at all. And I just feel like Brian, I saw a tweet that was like, Brian's a real yearner. Like Brian has been talking about how hot Amaya is and how he's like kind of interested. He had her back before he knew America loved her. He was saying, you need to meet her halfway if you want her to meet you halfway. Like he had her back. And I just feel like he genuinely, their conversation in the speakeasy,
they're both just like giddy.
And her wearing, like, she's like, you like my grandma dress? He's like, I love it. I think you look great. Like, she's not wearing makeup. She's just like wearing.
And
like,
I love how she talked about like going out, and she was like, like she's just so like, she's so likable.
Yes.
She's so lovely.
Oh, and the other thing that he said to her that had me like swooning, and I hate his facial hair, but here I am like wanting them to win. Let's make them win. Because, and if he fucks us up, I actually will die because she seems so cute and giddy in her confessional. But he said something. He goes, those other guys, they're talking about like it's too much or they don't want you to show it. I love that.
I don't want you to change it all.
He goes, I don't want you to change it all. Ignore what they said. I love that stuff. I love when a girl lets me know how she feels. Like, I love it. And it was just like,
it was so
you gotta
awesome.
find someone that matches your fucking freak. That is just what it is. Like, and these assholes with this mob mentality, you pieces of shit.
Ace, fuck off. Ace sitting there during the thing.
Interrupts her. Can I just say something? No, you can wait.
This isn't this and you guys didn't treat this challenge like this with anybody else. It's not a challenge where someone gets up on the podium and you all roast her.
And talk about how much Amaya has had all of your backs, ladies. Like,
exactly.
The way she Taylor, are you are you kidding? Are you serious? Like having a Landry's back, all this stuff. And then when she's up there being dogpiled on, y'all are quiet.
And then you guys go up and talk to her by yourself.
Unbelievable. I mean, so stupid. I was happy that Huda and Cierra went with her. And I was like, Ace, what do you think you're about to go do? Are you going to
go over and yell at her some more?
And I felt like when Shelly goes, she doesn't want to talk to you. Like, I felt like they
tried,
but they didn't want the guys to turn on them.
I think that's probably part of it. I hated during the Maybelline challenge when Ariana reveals that Amaya is the favorite or is the most genuine. And Ace looks at the boys and goes, that wasn't in my parlay.
Like,
oh my God, check yourself.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up, no, Ace, you fucking 22-year-old kid.
It's crazy. And I'm just so bummed because y'all know I was riding for him and Shelly. They were my winners. And I was like, I actually don't care if they're scammers too. I want them to win.
Another thing, this is how Alandria could win back the hearts of America. In the next couple days, be like, Cierra, what the fuck was that? Standing behind Taylor.
Needs to be put in her place over standing behind Taylor to keep him.
I don't care about Nick. He had enough votes.
Exactly. And the other thing is like, I'm sorry, your best friend in this house, I thought was Iris, honestly, after that week. Like after the conversations they were having where it was like, and Iris was like, wait, I don't love that Alandria did that. But given that situation, it felt crazy. And I felt like, is this your way of getting back at Alandria because you're still mad at her, but you're saving that energy and you're not telling her or whatever. But the fact that like, Taylor was already going to be staying.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Why wouldn't you just, as a show of good faith to your fucking friend Iris,
Nick's
you don't have to have the
conversation
later. Just go and if Nick says something to you, like, then he will understand when you explain to him, as you do, you're very emotionally mature seemingly, and you're good at explaining your stance on things. So just explain it to him. Like, he'll say, okay.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm intrigued. There are more bombshells. This show is supposed to end on the 13th. I don't see how it can.
Let's keep going.
I believe they're going to extend it. How can they? We don't even have enough strong couples at this time.
Keep them there forever.
Watch them keep it there for Brian and Amaya. And they're like, we need them to like get to a really sweet spot so that they can just win and leave. But the thought of Amaya coming out of that villa, her life is never going to be the same, and thinking that she has no idea, and that those girls, even with that challenge, and here's the thing, we're about to see them start talking shit. they're going to be like, I just thought it was weird that they thought Maya was like, they're going to start showing that and they're going to get out and fucking regret it.
They're going to be so pissed.
Like,
I just like, sorry, I need a t-shirt that says, I have 10 toes, not one
last
missing.
time I checked,
I
I'm not missing one of them.
Last time I checked.
Last time we checked.
Yeah.
You got 10 toes. Last time we checked.
And I'm standing on business with all of them. You are a very odd individual, and I do not want to fucking talk to you.
No, that was. But then her apologizing to him.
When that happened, I was like, wait.
I was like, if I rewind it fast enough, maybe the words will go back into her mouth and never come back out.
Like, what is? Wait, your apology? I was like, did he expect you to apologize?
And then he was so checked out during their hug. Even like he's only moving this way now because he knows what America thinks about you and he wants in. He saw what happened to Miguel. He's not Miguel. And I don't like knowing that he and Miguel are friends because it makes me think differently of Miguel, and I love him.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, quick little pause over in next gen land because I just need to say that Charlie, get off my screen, get out of my life, get off the earth.
The way he spoke to Georgia
actually should be punishable.
It was
prison.
so much worse than I ever could have imagined because we obviously saw the clip where he says you wouldn't be on the show if it weren't for me.
Yeah.
Then the way he calls her
you're
dirt
poor. You're in front of her friend too. First time he's meeting this girl, so it's like, no, this is just who you are. You are so comfortable.
And we should have known that when we talked to Ariana and her boyfriend.
Exactly. And you know who fucking had his back a little bit? Nick Viall. On his show, he was like, well, I just see that,
are you fucking serious?
He's like this because of his dad.
I don't give a shit.
Think he's so
there
broken.
Are people,
and like, you know what I want to say to Nick? Just like he said on the Secret Les reunion, have you ever heard the phrase hurt people hurt people? Like, guess what? There are also a lot of hurt people who do the work not to hurt somebody else.
But also just because of the goodness of their heart.
Charlie's a villain.
I know that there's work to be done for hurt people, but a lot of them don't even need to do the work to just do the right thing.
Exactly. And frankly, finding out that Ava and Charlie are dating,
that's gross.
Lost every ounce of respect I had for her. Like, I really did. Because especially after the altercation with Riley, and him saying that he doesn't mean his apology. Like, you're a woman of color, Ava. What are you doing? Like, with this man who's
like 6 years older than you,
is a loser, has no money because he says his job is crypto trading. He gets $10,000 a month from his dad.
I'm sick.
And then he like loses it all. He's probably doing all kinds of drugs. He's nasty, verbally abusive. He's like every interaction you have with him is like laden with microaggressions and like sexist, misogynistic takes. Like, he is a bad fucking guy. Get him off the screen.
He's so gross.
And I love Brooke so much, and I'm so enjoying watching him on the show.
Me
I
too.
love Ariana. I love Riley. Like, I love seeing all of them together.
I loved Ariana going to the lunch with Candy.
Yeah.
And them like having like, it was just so, and especially because I know their moms obviously aren't friends, but like the way that Candy was like, oh, I can't believe that like I'm seeing you, and so like you're this old.
And then Ariana's like, she's my best friend. And that's another thing that I love about Ariana is she gives, first of all, friend you can bring home to meet your mom.
Yeah.
Friend you can safely bring home to meet your mom and know she's going to have the manner. She's going to be polite. She'll be good at the conversation. Like, but also I like that she's so comfortable in who she is that she's like, I feel like Riley is a little bit more subdued and introverted and nervous.
And she's so much younger.
Riley never would have been like, you're my best friend here. Whereas Ariana's like, she's my best friend. And I feel like it just made Riley's heart like explode.
Yeah. Especially because
she would never say it.
Timid Riley was to begin with the friendship.
Exactly. So I don't know.
I'm loving the show though.
Loving it. I really am enjoying it.
He's giving, I mean, what sucks is that Charlie is giving like Jax.
Yes.
But honestly, I've been rewatching the beginning of Vanderpump. Jax, at least, you could tell he was a menace, but in those beginning seasons, there was something likable about him.
I think what's so tough too is like when they're that young, you still think, I know they're not that young.
But that's another interesting parallel between Jax and Charlie because
they're the oldest.
You think that Stassi, you think they're all the same age, and then you realize Stassi's 22.
So give them more of a break, and then you're like,
Jax is
exactly.
like 34.
You're like, no, wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, you have Peter Pan syndrome. You are not where you should be. You're hanging around these people, so you seem like you're at an okay level of maturity for your age. You're not. No, and I think one thing, it'll just be interesting to see, like, if reality television is teaching us anything, because honestly, if I were Charlie's family, if I were Charlie's representation, if I were the show, I would see this behavior and say, we need to get him off the show. Because frankly, if Jax hadn't been given the fame, the money, the opportunities that reality television gave him, who knows if he would have been able to salvage his life.
We have that conversation of him, the infamous number one guy in the group conversation, and it's like Yeah, but then he was such an asshole. So we knew he was so delusional in that moment, and then he still sells shirts that say that, and we buy them.
And it's like, that's the thing is like, imagine what this kind of thing does to your brain. And when Jack started on reality television, we had no idea. Like, we didn't have enough years of reality TV to show us what the results can be. And now it's like, we look at somebody like Jax and where he is now in terms of his mental health, his addiction, his marriage, his parenthood, like his business, everything is in the shitter. And I wonder if he hadn't been in this situation and been opened up to this, and his brain chemistry hadn't changed. Like, also, no one's supposed to be reading about themselves all the time. Like, I think Charlie's a bad person and he deserves the vitriol that I'm sure he's getting. But I also think it does something to you. And like, maybe there's a chance for him if he were to get out there and like get some help, and like people were going to help him get his life together and get him out of a situation like reality television, which is just going to continue to enable this behavior and exaggerate it and make him lean on things for support. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like,
I hope that that's true, but he seems like such
it might
a
be
narcissist. I don't even mean that. I just think that he's not one to take criticism.
No.
He's going to think he knows better than everybody else.
But if they were smart, they could just take him off the show.
Yeah.
Maybe give him a couple seasons.
I don't think he would learn.
No, I don't either. But it's like, maybe he just wouldn't fuck up his life as much as like,
yeah.
Because that's the other thing is, I mean, it's one thing to be this kind of a person not on television, and you can fuck up your life, but then you can go start a new life, you know, and try to be better. When you do this on the scale where everyone has seen you, I mean, but to be fair, he is a white man, and we have seen that it doesn't always matter for them. Like, they can act like this and still get their shirts purchased and still go on tour and still, you know, have these lives. So who knows? But it's just an interesting thing. All right. Well, why don't we do our rotations? I believe I'm on Dream.
Yeah, I think you are.
Okay. First up on my Dream rotation, Amaya Papaya, of course. I just love her. She continues to show us what a big heart she has, and that it's just like in the right place all the time. Like, it's not just like a few good moments that we're catching with her. She just continues, even when people treat her so fucking terribly.
She's Hannah Marincore.
Yes. I want a memoir. I want to know about her life. Like, where did you come from? What is your history? What's your family life? Like, what? I want to know all these things and how she ended up like being so amazing, so herself, and like so kind still. I think it's very hard to grow up in a world, especially in New York, be yourself
and be this nice
and be kind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay, next up is Brian on Love Island. I couldn't believe it. I voted before I watched the episode, and I voted for Chris as my favorite. If I had watched the episode first the night of the voting, I think I would have voted for Brian because I appreciated
voted for Chris, but Brian was a close second.
Like, never mind. I'm thinking more.
I remembered Chris's bait. When I was voting, I remembered Chris.
Chris just seems above the bullshit, which I appreciate. And I think that's something that Huda needs, because it's like, if you're with a guy who buys into all your bullshit and all your moods, you're going to stay in that drama loop forever. If you're with a guy who's like, okay,
I think he would have seen the crash out, and he would have been like, Huda.
Yeah. And I think she would have been like, oh, this isn't going to work on you? Okay, then I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
because then she also likes him enough.
Exactly. So I really like it. And then I'm going to put the 3-day weekend, the good old 3-day weekend. Every weekend should be a 3-day weekend.
Even though
2 days is not enough.
100% agreed. I do think July 4th weekend should be a 4-day weekend. Like,
I agree.
Especially if July 4th is on a Friday.
Yeah.
It should be.
We got off at 3 p.m. on Thursday, which was nice.
Yeah, you should get the Monday off. At that point,
I just feel like it's
the work day's over.
I'm like, the whole day is shot, even though I did actually get a lot of work done. Good for me. But the 3-day weekend, it's like, what am I supposed to do with the 2-day weekend? What am I supposed to do with that? There's not that much you can get done because you got stuff to do around the house. That's a whole day.
Yeah. Then you got to go grocery shopping.
And then that's sometimes another day.
You have to prep for
You can have like
week.
1 to 2 plans, but they better not suck all your energy out.
Yeah.
And then like, you need to also feel, you're supposed to relax and feel refreshed for the work week.
No.
That's insane. I need 3 days. 3 days. And I don't want longer work days. I don't want longer work days to accommodate that.
No.
So just someone.
Anyway, my rotation is Charlie, Ace.
From Next Gen, not XCX or Puth. Puth?
Huh?
XCX. You know what I'm quoting?
Of course.
You just
It pisses me off.
pisses me off.
God, I fucking love her.
Hmm?
I love her.
It's so good.
I just like. I wish I had like. I want a spin off of just her.
I know. Actually, that's a good idea.
And
that's a damn good idea.
Hey, I want Holmes and everything.
I know. I hope this is just her. So I hope that, not that I'm not obsessed with Haley Marie Matthews, like she could do it forever. I hope there's more in her arsenal so that she doesn't get
there is, 'cause
pigeonholed into this.
And also when I realized she was so different from her character in real life.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
different.
because honestly, you see pictures of her in real life, and I'm like, if I just saw this and you were like, she's gonna play this kind of character,
I'm not thinking of casting her
I'd
that
be
way.
like, no, she's not.
No.
She's not playing the girl who drops her phone, has a palm on her, a pom
palm
on her,
always on her one of her fingers.
finger, drops her phone, shriek.
Yeah, just definitely not. No, I mean, and that's Benny's vision. Benny's vision.
Are you Latinx? Anyway, Charlie, Ace, and me every couple weeks.
Holy shit.
No, that's not really
Phoebe hates
true.
herself.
I wanted to put felt too real.
Well, you just did.
I know, but I'm taking that out. I'll bleep it.
Okay.
No, because then they'll think I said something unproblematic or problematic.
We cannot have them thinking you said something unproblematic. That would just be out of character.
Exactly. They wouldn't believe it. I'm like trying to avoid saying Love Island, but I
felt that way too, and I was like, 2 out of 3 Love Island, but like, look, we only get like another week, and then Big Brother starts, which I do want to talk to you guys about. So Phoebe finishes up.
I would say Austin.
Okay, that works, guys. I just want to say,
wait, this is sorry. This is Caroline's public statement on not being asked to be in season 27
wow,
of
I
Big
actually
Brother.
wasn't ready to give that statement yet, but I guess now I am. There's still a week, Phoebe. They could still call me.
That was the energy of this.
I'm joking. So I do want to let you all know, if you were planning on tuning in to my performance on Big Brother this summer, I am not there. Why? Your guess is as good as mine.
Maybe you guys will be able to find the answer.
Yeah, maybe you guys will find out, because I certainly didn't. Got no closure there. Emailed me, said, come on this dating show. I said, are you kidding me? I have a honey. I'm famously married. Anyway, no, but I'll be applying next year. I mean, eventually. It's like, hey, everyone doesn't become president of their first one.
And also, I mean, honestly, if you get up to Angela age, who cares?
Who cares?
She was a fan favorite.
Exactly. Like, that's the great thing about Big Brother. Love Island, okay, if I were pushing 40, I'd be nervous.
Totally.
And that's the only reason I would be, is if I was a little bit older.
Only because it wouldn't work with the age range
That's
normally
the
on the
only
show.
reason. I'd just be so much more mature than everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They don't normally have people.
That's the only issue.
Imagine Golden Love Island.
No.
Which is what Bachelor in Paradise
essentially Golden Bachelor in Paradise.
They're trying to do.
Which we'll talk about. But what I really want to ask you guys is, first of all, are you going to be watching Big Brother? Because we are. And we're going to be, Situation Room vibes, watching live feeds on all day, especially Phoebe. We love having 24-hour access to our people, to our reality people. But
I just think the villa should consider
it. I want to talk about it on the podcast, but I don't want you guys to be bored to tears if you're not watching. So here's the deal. I need you to watch it. That's first thing. Just watch it so that we can talk about it, because it will be fun to talk about.
You'll like it.
And we're going to talk about it anyway.
Guys, I didn't think I was going to like it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it anyway. And it's less of a commitment than Love Island. Like, it is. So if you don't want to watch live feeds, you don't have to. They will condense it into an episode for you.
It's not like the way that it is for us, where there's a gun to our head to watch live streams. It won't be like that for you.
And we'll fill you in. Like, if you don't want to watch them, we will tell you what you need to know from the live feeds. But also, it's not on it as many days a week. If you could handle Love Island, like, you can handle Big Brother. I promise. And it's really, really good. We are going to be talking about it, whether you watch it or not. So I would watch it. But let me know what you envision for that conversation. Because, like, if it's something that you want us to talk about it a lot more, maybe we'll figure out. Like, if you don't want to talk about, if a lot of people are like, don't talk about it, then maybe we do it in certain places.
Yeah.
But also maybe not. Maybe just watch it. Maybe just grow up.
It's called, we have timestamps.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. There will be another podcast this weekend on our Patreon. Go check it out if you did not hear what you wanted to hear on this episode, although I can't imagine that's possible. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. And splat.
I never said I was perfect. I never said I didn't have any flaws. But at least I'm pretty. And at least I'm a little funny. And at least I'm my own best friend.